Movie Holics!
So as promised, here is our second episode of, or our second, not episode, but second, it is our second episode, this is our second part of the double feature that we did for Goosebumps and Crimson Peak. And here we go. It's going to be great. Okay, so this is part 2 of our double feature event. We were gonna go eat, now we're not gonna go eat. It's all my fault. It's these damn sunglasses. So we're just gonna grab a
whole hour to sunglasses.
We're gonna grab like a little pizza
or a cheeseburger, something
at the theater, and we'll eat for real. Anyways, Crimson Peak. Monica's been pretty excited about this film. Right?
Yeah, it's just really intriguing. It's really pretty. I really like Guillermo del Toro movies.
Yeah.
Just the artistry.
I mean, I definitely think it's going to be a pretty film. I just don't know. I don't know. The preview, like, the more I started, or the more I kept watching it, the more I was just like, you know, no biggie. But who knows?
No, so far it's got a 67%.
67%, so it's worse than Goosebumps.
But reading the reviews, 73% was like from audience stuff though.
Alright, well, I feel like the preview may have given away a little too much. I guess we'll see. But it's got a great cast, so who knows, maybe it'll be amazing. Anything else to add?
No. But there's a whole new set of problems that we're having to deal with.
Alright, so we ended up doing the IMAX for this one, by the way, which is kind of cool. Check it.
Can you tell us what really happened that night?
Nobody can see the security footage.
We all have a past, Hannah. Aren't you curious what she's going to use against you?
We're eating hamburgers.
I know what you did,
So we're happy. I got onion rings. She got waffle fries. Anyways, it's going to be great. You cold?
Oh my god.
Oh god.
That's what happened.
So what'd you think?
I liked it.
Oh man, I think you and I are gonna fight on this one.
I liked it. I liked the design. I liked the story. For the most part, I liked the music. It was fun, and and it was fun that we pretty much turned it into a raid experience, you know.
I mean, I think that there are a lot of individual things that are good about this movie, but I don't think as a movie that it was all that good.
I feel like maybe it should have been like a Netflix.
It has some serious story problems to me.
Really?
Yeah, like, I mean...
Well, I guess we'll get into that, but...
Well, and I won't give anything away by saying this, but I just want you to think, and you viewers can ponder on this, what did having the ghosts in the movie do for the movie? Did nothing.
I feel like we could have taken that a little bit step further. We could... Okay. We may not fight on this, but you bring a valid point, as usual. He always does.
Stand by.
You know, it's funny because even though I liked what I saw, I came expecting more from the ghost side. But it's almost like her special ability really didn't trigger anything that awesome or beneficial to her or to anybody around her.
I mean...
And I felt like it could have been taken to... I completely saw this going a different way.
So did I. But based on the previews...
I was like, yeah, this is going to be turned around. Like I said before, I was like, there's going to be a twist. I'm like, she going to turn this shit around. Like,
there's no twist. So guys, I just want... This again, this isn't doesn't ruin anything. This is a murder mystery. Right? I mean,
Yeah, I
like,
think that's why I was so, I guess, kind of intrigued by it, but I guess...
it's not a ghost story.
The ghost is a metaphor! There's a ghost in this story. What does there need to be a ghost for? That's exactly what they said in the beginning when he was reviewing.
You're right about that.
Oh my goodness.
But what's the metaphor?
Guillermo!
We've got some thinking to do.
What, Lord Jesus?
Anyways, like the individual pieces of the film, I think they did really well. Like you mentioned, the score. I think the score is great, right? Even though the score felt very odd sometimes, as I mentioned, it felt
it's like
it didn't really fit, but it was still really pretty. The acting was great. The one big thing that I'm gonna take away from this film, as a huge negative for me, is the CG. And I know that we always mention the CG, but I'm sorry, you made it a prominent character in the film, so it's going to be analyzed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I feel like they're trying to be stylistic with it in a weird way.
I cannot see a damn thing.
I know. I'm sitting here trying to put my lips on in this camera, and I can't see anything. I feel like it's supposed to be a little bit more stylistic, but then again, it's funny because I saw the first view of the ghost was actually replicated by a makeup girl on YouTube called Made You Look, and I saw her do it, and I'm like, that's pretty interesting. So it's almost like if it could be replicated,
if you make it look it in real life, but
why would you? Yeah,
we can we can really focus on that in the discussion, I think, because again, this, like, they're making the ghost a character in this film, so I'm going to look at it hypercritically, like I do everything else. You know what I mean? And it just doesn't look great. It didn't look great in the previews. I was concerned about that when we watched the previews all those times, and it doesn't look that great. Now, I'm not an idiot. I can look past the bad CG and go, well, what were they going for? And I can see good things in it, but story-wise, motivation-wise, there are some issues. There are just some issues that I have that this will be a very spoiler-filled discussion, I think. I don't think there's really
any way around it.
Yeah, so in the discussion, like, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there that it's probably going to be pretty spoiler-ridden. What else? What do you have to say? You liked it for the most part.
Yeah, I still liked it, yeah. I mean, I guess because I like those type of murder mysteries.
Yeah. It was interesting, man. It was interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe we'll fight, maybe we won't. I think it's going to be a good discussion.
No, like I said, you brought some valid points. I liked it as it was, but I did expect a different turn of events, but that didn't happen, which, lessened my, I don't know, hype of this, I guess. I don't know. But I still liked what they did.
It's not terrible.
No, not at all.
It's not the worst film of the year by any stretch. It's most certainly not the best, though, either. Okay, so previews on this one. I didn't think there were going to be previews, because it skipped the previews, and then it went straight to that, like, is it okay if I scream? Like, a lot.
Yeah, it
commercial.
was a weird, like, little blackout period, but we still saw some.
But yeah, so the previews came on, and we saw a preview for 13 hours, and it's something like the True Files or something behind Benghazi. And this movie looks really good. Right up until I saw that Michael Bay was like either the producer or whatever.
He's like, let me reel you in.
I'm just like, oh, God.
Reel you in and then slap my name on it.
Based on this, I'd probably still skip it at the theater, but I think I could probably watch this one.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it on like Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix.
Intern!
How are you eating right now?
Intern! Hey, bed.
I just started eating. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you much. Victor Frankenstein, same preview that I trailer trashed, and I just can't stand it.
I'm so torn on this movie. I just don't even know.
I'll skip it. Like, I'll probably...
I have this slight hope that it will be decent, but...
It's just such an abhorrent...
Nothing is really nothing's really making me want to see that.
It's just such an abhorrent disregard for the source material, and it's just really frustrating. Yeah.
Probably not. Maybe Netflix.
Maybe.
On a rainy day while I'm cleaning.
The Forest. So this is the first time I really realized that this was a kind of like a Ringu sort of like Japanese or Chinese. I don't
Japanese.
I get maybe it's an adaptation. It doesn't really seem all that scary to me, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't seem to have the same stamina as like,
Ringu or Grudge or whatever.
Yeah, not the same like.
I think those kinds of movies, they ran their course.
Yeah.
They tried it. They tried it a few more times, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, Last Call, all of
yeah.
this is just.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
it worked for what they were, and then it just kind of started getting too much.
Yeah, it was like, okay, well, we've seen all the same creepy imagery because it's all the same at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will probably skip it at theaters.
Yeah.
Maybe
no theater.
Maybe Netflix. Maybe.
Hey.
Krampus. Now this though, I want to see this movie.
I remember when we first saw the preview, I was like, "This is Krampus. This is Krampus."
Yep.
Because most people don't know what Krampus is.
I didn't.
And I was like, "It's Krampus. It's Krampus." And then it said Krampus. I was like, "Yes."
So you're excited for it?
I am. I do want to see it.
Yeah. I think it's going to be great. The one thing I'll say, I can't tell if it's a comedy or a horror film or both.
That's what makes it so fun, because it's like, you don't have horror movies during Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that we've gone all these years without people not knowing what Krampus is.
I've never heard of this before in my
Really?
life. Never.
I believe he's German, which is why I think I know what he is. Hold on.
Interesting.
Krampus. I know he eats peoples. From what I remember Omar saying. German-speaking Alpine folklore, Krampus is a horned, anthropomorphic figure. According to traditional narratives around the figure, Krampus punishes children during the Christmas season who have... I didn't click on the complete article. Who have misbehaved. In contrast with St. Nicholas, who rewards well-behaved ones with gifts. So yeah, this is... I remember Omar.
Very interesting. So this family's getting tortured for Christmas, apparently.
Because them bad kids. And the adults. But yeah,
I think it looks fun.
It's so crazy how, I know there are some horror movies of it, but they just never...
Yeah.
People really don't know about it. But this is definitely going to shed
Frost.
some light. I know. Y'all remember Jack Frost? I think that... Sometimes you come across movies in your lifetime where there are certain scenes you'll just never forget.
You'll never forget. And seeing
I remember
seeing
being
him
so young, and I'm like, what is this movie? Like,
seeing Jack Frost rape that girl in the...
And what's so bad is I mixed this
shower.
movie with that Michael Keaton...
Oh no. The actual family
so I'm
film.
thinking I'm watching the Michael... I'm like, where's them people at? Like,
Oh no. That's terrible.
So yeah, but no, I'm totally excited for Krampus, and I definitely will see this. Yeah.
Intern.
Intern's really thirsty and hungry all of a sudden. It is 9:14, Stevie.
I have to do it right now.
The life and times of Stevie the intern.
Intern.
She's like, bitch, I'm getting my water. You done?
All right. Yay, bed. She's like, no.
Water dripping all over.
Anyways, moving on. Star Wars, same trailer as always. I'm hoping to catch a new one tomorrow, man. I'm really excited.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's supposed to drop. I mean, you already know what we think about this. There's no point in us reiterating it 5,000 times. Spectre, not a James Bond fan, so...
I was a James Bond fan, but I just kind of lost track with this new guy.
New guy? Daniel Craig?
No, I said this guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
this guy.
This guy.
She's just stupid.
This guy.
Because
he does look like an angry baby. I saw that.
Who, me?
No.
Oh, you need to clarify.
Daniel Craig looks like an angry baby, as noted on, what was I watching? If you know what it was, just put it in the love.
Oh, God. Angry
But
baby.
ultimately, they just lost it for me, I guess, because I'm the Pierce Brosnan James Bond fan.
I'm not an anybody James Bond fan. I can't help it.
My dad loves James Bond, so that's why I kind of...
Yeah. Fair enough. I don't know. I guess it looks fine for a James Bond movie, but... Stevie!
You had all day to eat.
All right, moving on. In the Heart of the Sea, I'm not into it.
I almost forgot what that was. I was like...
It's the... I think
Moby
that's
Dick?
what it's called. It's the true story. Why didn't you just call it Moby Dick, you fucks? Sorry. It's just like, I mean...
Because they probably were going to freak people out by being like, ooh, we shouldn't make this movie. But let's make this movie and call it something different so people actually watch it and not...
It doesn't...
That's what they try to do. They try to sneak it by people.
This is basically Jaws before Jaws, and I'm just not into it.
Yeah. It might as well be Moses and the Whale.
Really, really very... I mean, like, heavily CG. That two-tone shit that they do really just upsets me every time I see it. I can't imagine I'm going to like this movie at all. So I will skip.
It's going to be super long.
Probably is.
Ugh.
So those are the previews. Moving on. Now again, this is Crimson Peak that we're talking about here. So we're gonna cover likes, dislikes, the CG, the ghosts, and a little something there at the end. I'm gonna go ahead and forewarn you. This is probably a very, very spoiler-rich episode. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there. If you haven't seen the movie and you're really wanting to see the movie, you should probably not watch this. So bye. Okay.
Come back later though.
So the likes. What do you think?
Just like I said earlier, I liked the music was gorge. The design, everything was gorge. The acting was really good. I liked the story. And then overall, I mean, I really liked it. I thought it was really good for what it was.
What would you give it right now before our discussion? Out of 10.
I would probably, because I would probably rewatch this, I'd probably say a 7.5.
7.5. Okay.
Probably 8. Let's do 8.
All right. So I'm gonna say that I would give it like a 4. Okay. And we're gonna see at the end of this if I budge or she budges or if nobody budges. I just invented this game. I think it's gonna be fun. So here's the thing. I agree with you. In terms of the likes, I like the score. I like the acting. I like the characters for the most part. There are a couple weak characters, I think, but I really enjoy the scenery, the imagery. Like on screen, almost everything looks beautiful from beginning to end. It's a very easy movie to watch in that sense, right? He clearly has a great idea of how to make your eye follow and keep you engaged.
Right.
Okay? So I agree with all that. But then you start lumping in my dislikes, all right? I'll go first and you can go second. My dislikes are the CG's terrible. Like any scene with a ghost looks really, really bad and it's distracting. I would rather have just heard whispers. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Rather than see this seriously distracting CG. So that was a huge thing. The other dislike, we're going to talk about the CG too. The other dislike being the ghost and what their purpose were. Now, we'll get into that in a second. I don't really. There were times where I found myself going, well, what do they want though? And I'm not talking about the ghost. I'm talking about Hiddleston and Jessica Chastain. I'm like, what do they want? Do they just want money? They've done this 4 times. They've done this. That one was a true one. That other card something must be wrong with it. I'm like, what do they want? Like, they've done this 4 other times to 4 other different women. Do they just keep blowing through all the money? You know what I mean? My point is, the moment I start thinking about like why everything happened, I start going, but it's really kind of an unanswered question, and that starts bringing down like the score for me. Every time I find another question that I can't answer, I'm like, What about you? What do you? What were some
Ultimately,
dislikes
I
for
mean,
you?
I can agree with you. Even though I did like the movie, like even though I liked what they presented, I do feel like what was the true purpose of anything? Like, just like when you said, like, I guess I feel like that the previews really displayed something that is completely not what we saw.
Yeah, they. I don't feel like the previews,
Which is where it
gave
makes
us-
you think what were the real intentions, because I feel like the preview where the intentions were like, oh, we're feeding these women to the house because the house lives, but ultimately it has nothing to do with that.
No, it has virtually nothing to do with ghosts in the first place.
And so
has-
it's funny that, right from the beginning in the movie they basically nudge at it. This is the story. The story is not about ghosts, but it has ghost in it.
So what she's talking about is there's a she's a writer,
Right.
and she's written this thing that everybody's reading, and they agree that it's really good, but they think that she needs to write love stories, right? And they keep mentioning that it's a ghost story, and she's like, well, it's not really a ghost story. It's a story with ghosts in it, right? And that is what this movie is. So clearly, there's some forethought there. That's not a mistake.
No.
That's not a coincidence.
They knew what they were going to present, and ultimately, that's when it really sucks when you see previews of certain things, because it's like, they beat this preview up, number one, like constantly playing on everything.
Yeah.
And they have it set in our brains what this movie is going to be. But when you watch it and it's nothing what you thought, not even like the slightest twist or turn.
What she's trying to say is the preview seriously misrepresented the film.
Completely. And even though it wasn't a bad film or bad story, I completely had in my brain how it was going to go.
Yeah.
And it didn't go that way at all. And like what I said, I liked it, but then you brought up the holes, and I was like, dang it. And then as we're watching it, we're pretty much just like waiting for that, but it doesn't happen. It's just like,
So here's the thing. The ghosts, when this movie comes out on DVD, I very well may purchase a copy and re-edit it without ghosts. Serious. Just to prove the point that, like, this movie didn't need them at all. It's not about ghosts.
I mean, it was almost basically false advertising.
And ghosts are in it. Don't misunderstand what we're saying. There are ghosts in it. They just serve no purpose. They don't do anything for the story. You could take out every instance where a ghost shows up, and it will still just be a murder mystery.
Right.
That's what this movie is. It's murder mystery / there's clearly a romance side to the whole thing, right? But at the end of the day, you're just trying to figure out, well, I don't even know if I want to say who done it, because you know who done it. You know who done it the whole time. But I guess what you're trying to figure out throughout the movie is why. The ghost, just, the more I think about, like, the ghost, the more pissed off I get about the ghosts.
And that's another thing, is like they played like, all right, she can see ghosts since the age of 10. Fine, when her mother died.
But for
Fine.
what?
But I expected that to play a little bit more into the story, and her be able to like be like, okay, let's make these ghosts. Let's
Do
turn
something.
this. Let's flip this script.
Yeah.
No, completely not at all.
She's not there to help it's not like Sixth Sense, right? Where
Not at
he can
all.
see ghosts because he needs to help them cross over. That's not what these ghosts want. They don't. It's not like they're seeking revenge. We don't know anything about the ghosts, more or less. You know what I mean? We know nothing about them. We know that her mom haunts her twice in the film. Once at the beginning, once she gets to England. We still have no idea why. The ghost warns her about an event that's going to take place, I'm assuming like
warns her,
15
yeah.
years in the future.
Warns about Crimson Peak,
But why?
and it kind of annoys me now that I'm thinking about it, because she should have seen this happening before. Crimson Peak was noted when she was looking in that book.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you saw,
I
but
might have missed that.
it said Crimson Peak and Allendale, which was the name of the place. And so that's what...
Oh, she just didn't read it or whatever?
Apparently not. I guess it kind of annoyed me because I'm like, she already read about Crimson Peak. But then she acted all like... excuse me. She acted all brand new about it when he told her, Tom Hiddleston's character told her that, told her why it's called Crimson Peak. And I'm like, wait a minute, but the book... Maybe I missed that. If I did, let me know. But I don't think I missed that. She opened that book and it said Crimson Peak and Allendale Blah.
That's interesting. I did not catch that. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I just didn't catch it. So I mean, that's if that's the case, then that's another issue where like there's just kind of some problems with, and again, like the motivations behind it all, like
I expected. Like I said, I'm thinking that brother and sister. You know, this fancy ring and like, oh, there's something more sinister, more paranormal that's going on.
I was like
with
expecting witchcraft or something, you know, like I was
money.
expecting something, but it was all over money.
Money for their machine.
Which it's just I can't even formulate good thoughts around this because it's just you just have to see it. Because it's like to think about like everything that they had to go through, Hiddleston and Chastain, to just get to the point of doing what they've done. Like, they murdered 4 people. And where's the money going? Is it, I mean...
It's not to fix that damn house.
Right?
Even though the house was really pretty and all for its parts.
Now...
Where was their money going?
And
I mean, the house had it, and you know, and I was reading a little thing where it says everything in this movie is for a metaphor, and so basically they say that the hole in the roof and stuff like that, and snow falling in was a metaphor for how broken this relationship is and stuff like that, and I'm just like, these people are living in a busted house.
That sounds like film students like trying
to
make some grand interpretation,
you know, and right down to the dog supposedly representing Edith, Mia Wasikowska's character.
I mean, I can see how there are similarities. Now, that's another fucking question, though. Like, they make this point of being like, how did the dog survive?
How did the dog survive? It's like
survive?
The house keeps everything alive. And I'm like, so are we paranormal again or no?
So we never talked about that, you know, like...
Apparently, their metaphor comes with that, is that they left the dog to go to America,
right?
And the dog survived off of scraps and just its strength, and that's why they relate it to Edith, is that she survived on basically scraps and her strength.
I call bullshit. I call bullshit. That being said, the grand question I think is they said it several times in the movie. The ghosts are just a metaphor, and you know what's funny? I never once thought about that while watching the film.
I know, and they told us blatantly, flat out, and I didn't even think about it until we walked out of the theater.
So the question is then, what are the ghosts? Right? The ghosts in the book that she's writing, they were a metaphor. Clearly, these ghosts weren't, like, this wasn't a ghost story, this was a story with ghosts. So what were the ghosts? What's the metaphor? I can't figure it out. I like to think that I'm pretty intelligent when it comes to, like, dissecting films. No clue. No clue.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's kind of just...
It almost feels like they were trying to be too like witty with it.
Too witty, as far as probably like they're gonna think we're gonna do this, but we're gonna do this.
It's frustrating.
And it's not gonna make sense.
It's frustrating,
and they have to think about it.
So just real quick on the CG, there were lots of composited images, and not every single time did it look terrible, but 95% of the time, you gotta admit, it looked pretty bad.
Yeah, but why? Pan's Labyrinth didn't look that...
It's like...
Did it?
No, Pan's Labyrinth didn't, but it didn't rely so heavily on CG. They used a lot of practical effects. So
why did this have to be so CG'd? Because I feel like they could have done the motions. Like, I know it's his signature to have the blood coming up off.
Right.
Fine. That's cool. But going deeper, going closer, it was almost like, I don't know, it's just too much.
Yeah, something was weird. I mean,
it didn't make it as realistic as it could have been.
Should have
provide
been.
that scare factor. Yeah.
And then this is not on the list, but the scare, you mentioned the scares. It's like, man, why every single scare that they had was a cheap jump scare. Every single one. But then, you know, like, maybe that's the point. You know, like, if the ghosts are just a metaphor and it's not supposed to be a ghost story, it's just a story with ghosts. You know, like, I don't know. I might go back and watch this movie in a year and be like, this is one of the greatest films ever made.
Yeah, ultimately.
But right now, it's sitting at a 4. It's a hard 4.
Yeah, ultimately, I guess it definitely is one of those probably rewatch, and then we'll probably catch more things and be like, oh, sneaky.
Let's see. Then my last thing, which we've kind of established, but I just want to reiterate one more time. The question was, could this movie have stood without the ghosts, in your opinion?
Ultimately, yeah. When you brought up, or when you first mentioned it, and I thought about the whole, well, of course, you tell somebody not to go somewhere and something, or do something, and they're pretty much going to 99% go opposite. And he told her not to go below this floor. And of course she does, because what else does she have to do? Nothing. So when she gets down there and sees the case, that ES...
She sees literally everything she needs to solve the crime.
Really does. It starts off. It sparks that churning.
It gets the cogs moving, and she
so then she's
starts
like,
figuring
well,
shit
what
out.
is ES? And then this trunk has also, it says Enola on it. What is this?
Yep.
And then later on, she sees a key on the keychain that says Enola. What is this? And then she takes that key, goes down there, pulls out the stuff, listen to these audibles, and looks at these pictures. We did not need no ghost to tell us anything
virtually without any ghost. Like,
they didn't tell me nothing. They were just trying to mess with me the entire time.
seriously, like they did literally nothing. Like, she even think about that dream that she had where she just saw the ghost pointing in a direction, never referenced again. They never went outside and looked that way or anything. You know what I mean? You remember that scene? She was the ghost was across the field, and it's just floating there, and it had its hand pointing at? Had no idea.
Because I was looking for that. And I was like, I don't see nothing.
We never once referenced it again. So it's just weird, I guess. Like, I literally could remove every instance of a ghost, I feel like, and just have a well-performed... I think it would probably benefit the fucking movie.
I mean, yeah.
You know? And again, it's just a problem, like, we should do a whole episode on how previews mismarket films. Because this film was not marketed correctly. It was marketed to get butts in the seats, and it's insulting when movies do that.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what... Ultimately, it's like, everybody loves Guillermo. How can you not? And that was just another, like...
Yep. They used a name, and I wonder what his thoughts are. I wonder if he's gonna pull like a Josh Trank with Fantastic Four and be
I
like,
don't think so.
that wasn't my movie.
He seems like the kind of guy that's really proud of everything that he does, no matter what, and no matter what
He'll just own
response
it.
he gets. Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. That's all I've got. Anything else from you?
Some people should have died 8 times over.
Yes. Yes.
But we just had to keep everybody alive. And I guess that just goes into the house keeps people
Not
alive.
everybody alive.
The house keeps
Nope.
people alive.
There are
for some
definitely
reason.
2 people that are dead.
I don't know. And I like I said, the whole ghost thing, if you're going to give somebody that kind of power, I feel like that should be to the fullest and not just...
It should be usable.
When
in some
people
way,
want to
shape,
see them, no, if you got that power, you got that power. And you can't choose it when you can and that. You can and that. So that's what made me mad, I think, the most, is that they give her this power and it's just like...
barely used.
Barely used. Only in special moments.
It was weird.
But anyways.
Boom. I don't have anything else to add. That is pretty much all my thoughts.
I feel like that was pretty self-explanatory. What you saw in the preview, you're not going to see in the theater.
Oh, you'll see it. It's just completely out of context, and it doesn't do anything for the story.
Blown out of proportion.
Okay, great. You want to sign us off?
Thank you all for watching, joining us. I'm so bad at this, but don't forget to hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, our website, movieholics.net, and let us know your comments. You know, what do you think? You gonna watch this? You gonna not watch this? Comments below. All right, guys.
Bing, bam, boom.
What'd you think of Inception?
Nope. Not this time. We'll see you later, guys. Bye.
I really gotta practice the outro because that's the first time you threw that at me. What? I gotta do what? I gotta say what? I'm doing what?